Greetings to all of you and a warm welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Pastor Martin Sinclair and I am delighted to be with you today as we embark on a journey to discover the power of the parables of Jesus. The parables are some of the most beloved and well-known stories in the Bible. They have been told and retold for centuries, and they remain as relevant today as they ever were. In this Bible study, we'll be digging deep into the parables and exploring what they can teach us about God's kingdom. Let's begin by asking the question, what are parables? The word parable is derived from the Greek word parabole, which means to cast alongside. In other words, parables are stories that are used to illustrate a particular point. They are often used to explain complex spiritual truths in a way that's easier to understand. Jesus used parables to teach his followers about God's kingdom and how to live in it. The parables of Jesus are some of the most iconic and important stories in the Bible. In the parable of the Good Samaritan, Jesus teaches us about the importance of loving our neighbor. In the parable of the prodigal son, he teaches us about the power of redemption and forgiveness. In the parable of the sower, he teaches us about the importance of cultivating a fertile spiritual life. The parables of Jesus are full of wisdom and insight. They are living stories that can be applied to our lives today. By studying and reflecting on the parables, we can gain a deeper understanding of God's kingdom and our place within it. Let's look at a few of the parables of Jesus in greater detail. The parable of the Good Samaritan is a powerful story about the importance of loving our neighbor. In this parable, Jesus tells the story of a man who is traveling from Jerusalem to Jericho. Along the way, he is attacked by robbers and left for dead. The first two people to pass by the man, a priest and a Levite, are too busy with their own lives to help him. However, the third person, a Samaritan, stops to help the man and takes him to an inn, where he pays for his medical care. This story is a powerful illustration of how we should treat our neighbors. It teaches us that we should not be so focused on our own lives that we forget to help those in need. We must be willing to put aside our own interests and reach out to those who are suffering. The parable of the prodigal son is a beautiful story about the power of redemption and forgiveness. In this parable, Jesus tells the story of a father who has two sons. One day, the younger son leaves home and squanders his inheritance. When he returns home, the father is overjoyed and welcomes him back with open arms. This parable teaches us that no matter how far we strayed from God, we can always find our way back. God's love is unconditional and his mercy is infinite. We can always turn back to him and be welcomed with open arms. The parable of the sower is a story about the importance of cultivating a fertile spiritual life. In this parable, Jesus tells the story of a farmer who scatters seed on different types of soil. Some of the seed falls on good soil and produces a rich harvest, while some of the seed falls on rocky or hard soil and produces nothing. This parable teaches us that it is important to nurture our spiritual lives. If we want to reap a harvest of faith and righteousness, we must tend to our spiritual soil. We must be willing to put in the effort to cultivate a fertile spiritual life. These parables of Jesus are full of wisdom and insight. They are timeless stories that can be applied to our lives today. As we reflect on the parables and meditate on their teachings, we can gain a deeper understanding of God's kingdom and our place within it. As you can see, the parables of Jesus are full of insight and wisdom. They are living stories that can be applied to our lives today. I hope that this Bible study has been informative and inspiring and that you have gained a deeper understanding of God's kingdom and your place within it. Before we end this Bible study, I would like to remind you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. By subscribing, you'll be able to stay up to date with all the latest content on my channel and be the first to know when I upload new videos. Thank you for joining me today. Until next time, may God bless you and keep you safe.